Today we're going to play with lines. We are going to play with patterns. We are going to play with relaxing our brains. So we're going to do these awesome waves, and they're really easy to do. The first step is that we are going to paint the background blue. You could use marker or colored pencil if you like. You need a dark color and a light color and a medium color if you would like. But it's most important to have the dark on the bottom, because when you're in the water, the deeper you get, the darker it is. If you use paint, you could use more paint on your brush at the bottom and then less paint as you work your way up. For this, I actually transitioned from a dark blue to a lighter blue once I got close to the top of the water line. So I'm going to show you how to do it with paint today just because it's quicker for this tutorial. You guys can use crayons, markers, colored pencils, whatever you like. So after we paint the background, I'm going to show you how to separate the waves into sections, and then we're going to give each section a pattern. It's really simple and it's a lot of fun. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paint and I'm going to start from the bottom with my darker blue, and I'm going to work my way up, because as you paint or even color with a marker or a colored pencil, you're going to start with a pretty even level of layer of colors, but you can come back down to the dark areas to put on a second layer to really make sure that darkness comes through. So I'm going to wake my paint up. I'm going to start with the dark blue, and I'm just going to move my brush back and forth across the page. Now we have water, and when you think about drawing water, you start to draw, your brain will tell you to draw these wavy lines. So it's good if you're painting to paint back and forth in a wavy motion. So as the paint dries, it'll give you the feeling of water. So now I have too much water down here to really add any more color. So I'm going to keep moving up, and then I can work my way back down to make it darker. If I need to spread some dark paint around, all I need to do is take my brush, dip it in the water, and that'll move some of that paint color around. So I'm working my way up. I'm going to come back to the bottom, add some more. And as I get to the top of the wave line, I'm going to have a really light blue. And I could start inviting this other color in. So that was a little bit too dark, so I just dipped my brush in the water, and now I'm using the water to move that color around. And it's okay if your paper starts to bend a little bit. It's not a big deal. You could flatten it out later. Just watching my fingers here. So nice and light on the top, a barely there color, and I'm working my way back down to the dark colors. So to start, we're going to start at the top with our wave. So to do a wave, you're going to find your point where you want it to start. You're going to come out a little bit and come up and give yourself a curved line like that. Then you're going to take the point, and with your marker, you're going to make a letter C. And you're going to come down and up and do it again. And just continue across the page, just like that. Now you have your waves. So underneath it, we're going to start with just a long curved line that goes across. It doesn't have to be any certain shape or anything like that, as long as you don't touch the bottom of these wave pieces. So I'm going to go like that, and then I'm going to go underneath and make another one, and I'm going to do another one. Okay, so there we have it. We have our sections. So I would start with the top and work your way down. So just pick, as you go along, a pattern for each section. I really like the way that these circles look up at the top, so I'll show you how to do those. You're going to start at a place where you have enough room, and you're going to make 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then you're going to find a spot in the corner. If you look where your outside circle ends, that's going to be where you're going to start your new line. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now here's my point where my 2 circles meet. I'm going to start there. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to repeat that all the way across this section. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Okay, there you have it. So as you continue along, I just want you to think about pattern. Pattern doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to be exact or perfect, but if you use the same kind of hand strokes with your marker in a certain direction, like everything was really flowy, and even though each circle isn't exactly perfect, it still reads as a pattern. So for this one, I just did some squiggly lines. So I have one squiggly line there. I'm going to move over and I'm going to do the same, maybe not the same exact, but close enough that they belong together. Now if I look at that and I think, maybe I put those all too far apart. There's space that I could use. Maybe I'll just do a single line now, just to fill in that empty space. Still creating a pattern even though it's not exactly the same. There we go. So let's see, down here I did some ovals. And I colored it in, almost like eyeballs, but if they were standing up. And then you could, let's change it up from what I did here. Maybe I'll do triangles. So let's go 1, 2, this way. Because it's okay to change it up. I don't have to use the same patterns I did before. Because it's all about playing and experimenting. And finding places to put lines. Those will meet there, and then maybe here to fill in this space, I could put some smaller triangles. Add some lines where I need it. Okay. Now for this one, I just did wavy lines across in one direction. Oops. And then I turned my paper and I did wavy lines in the other direction, creating these cool boxes. And then I filled each box with a little circle just to give it something. Okay. Now, I'm a big fan of spirals, so I'm going to put the spiral one back in. To do this, you're going to start in one space away from your outside lines, and then you're just going to start throwing your circles in there, looking for little spaces that these spirals could fit. And if they don't fit, you could always continue a line around it just to make it look like it's part of a bigger spiral. And just follow this pattern all the way across. Perfect. That was so relaxing. I love drawing repetitive patterns because it just does calm down your brain and get you into a nice groove, and you can just let your mind wander. And it doesn't matter if it comes out perfect because you're still creating something that is you and that came out of just the way that your brain is flowing. And that's awesome. We all need some of that. So down here, I'm just going to do these little curved lines. They almost look like the bottom of curtains all the way across, and I'm going to go backwards doing the same thing. So I'm going to find the point in these, they're kind of like a scallop shape, and I know that's a big word, and I'm going to go over the place where it comes to a point just like that. This way they look kind of like dragon scales laying on top of each other. And I'm just going to go all the way down, and if I run out of room, I'll just fill it in with a line that goes in the same direction so it looks like part of it is there. Perfect. Now the last thing to do is add our little boat. Now if you don't want to add a boat, that's perfectly fine. Say you want to do some birds in the sky or a fish jumping out of the water. You're more than welcome to design it however you'd like, just like you were more than welcome to design whatever patterns you would like. But for today, I'll draw a boat because it's easy and I want to show you guys how to do it in case you don't know. So I'm going to draw one line across there, and I'm going to curve the bottom of my boat to fit right into the curve of the wave because it looks like the boat's sitting on top of the water. Then I'm going to draw a little rectangle with a circle on top for this. I don't know much about sailboats, but pole for the sail, And then I'm going to draw a triangle, but I'm going to try not to draw a triangle that goes I'm going to curve it a little bit. So I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to come across, curving up a little bit right to the pole, and then I'm going to make a little line there so it looks like the sail is separating from the pole in the middle because it's attached at the top and the bottom. So now I'm going to take a color, and I'll do, I like the way that the red looks as the bottom of the boat. So red for the bottom, and brown for the top. And for the sail today, how about orange, since we're matching with the red. There you go. Beautiful. So I hope that you like this project. It's a lot of fun. You could do it over and over again with all sorts of different patterns. You could also use this pattern line technique for any sort of thing. You could draw a cityscape and make buildings. You could do anything you'd like. So please share with us. We would love to see it. Hope you all are well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.